Hi guys, just a side note, before you start the video, you're going to notice as I go through that I sound like I'm getting a cold more and more and more. What happened when doing the mapping and the chart for this person, I started to get a blood nose and all different physical symptoms, a very dry mouth, feeling like there's dirt and a scratchy feeling in my throat. So you'll hear that, and I just wanted to let you know because I note when my body reacts to certain things, and I absolutely am feeling a little bit strange after doing this reading. I don't usually get blood noses or anything like that, so I just wanted to put that out there. Hello everybody, it's Kirsty. You know me, I look at crimes, try and solve crimes using astrology. Today I want to have a look at the case of missing mum, Suzanne Morphew. Now Suzanne is 49 and apparently went out for a bike ride on Mother's Day, May the 10th this year, in Colorado, in Salida, Colorado, and was never seen again and hasn't been seen since. Now, her bicycle was recovered just a little bit up the road from her house, and I'll show the map shortly. But apart from that, nothing much has happened. Her husband has come forward and pleaded for her safe return, speaking directly what seems to be to kidnappers. I'll offer my opinion on the little that I have seen. I haven't looked a whole lot into this case, but at the request of Q is my uncle, I wanted to have a look and see what we would come up with, combined with his or her knowledge, astrological knowledge, that's always in the comments below. So have a look. It's always very interesting and correct. Okay, let's have a look at some things. So apparently Suzanne Morphew was wearing this bike helmet the last time she was seen on the 10th of May. Now what I'll do is I'm going to ignore the lines and everything for a moment, but here, this is where Suzanne Morphew lives. That's the road, driveway. And then just here is where her bicycle and something else, another personal effect, was recovered just here. That is from the house to the belongings, 0.26 miles. Now, the last time she was seen I have is 5:46 p.m. and 27 degrees on the IC. Turns out when we do mileage at 0.27, so 0.26 miles, very close to this IC here. So apparently she was wearing this helmet, and this is the area here. It's very wealthy, I believe. They have a lot of money. The husband didn't say anything for a week, and then came out and asked kidnappers to please give her back. Now, I have to say that I find that a little weird. Usually people don't directly assume that kidnappers have your wife, so that was a little bit odd to me, but I'm not going to judge this person. I want to have a look at the astrology. Their house. The area that she went bike riding in is really rocky. There's a massive steep hill, so she must be super fit. Anyway, let's get back to the chart. So what do we see with this chart? Suzanne is represented by the ascendant as always. The person we're looking for is always the ascendant here. That's in Libra, and the ruler of Libra is Venus. Venus is in the 8th house, so I don't like the look of that. It's in a trine aspect, that blue line. I also don't like that. It's connecting her body and everything to the ruler of a possible perpetrator. Anyway, so Venus at 21 degrees of Gemini is in the 8th house. The 7th house, if there's a perpetrator and her husband came out and asked for the kidnappers to please give her back, and so on the assumption that somebody has taken her, we'll look at this 7th house as the perpetrator. It's ruled by Mars because it's Aries. Now you'll notice after watching many of my videos that this is repetitive. If Libra's on the ascendant, then Aries is always on the descendant, and the same for every sign. So you begin to see this, the more you do these, you begin to see the pattern pop up. Now there's certain things that I see as well that show me, okay, this doesn't look good immediately, or this looks okay. Maddie Bell was one where the chart immediately looked good. I could see that she was likely alive and just went of her own accord to a friend's house. Great. This chart doesn't look like that to me. There's a few indicators. Saturn, which is death and our physical body, is very close to the end of the matter here. The end of the matter is in Capricorn at 27 degrees. Jupiter is on top of it, so it amplifies it, makes it bigger. And just 27 to, well, really 24 to 29 degrees of Capricorn. Saturn anywhere near there is shocking. So having that IC and Saturn here, I don't like it at all. So visually I just don't like that. Now the ruler of the perpetrator is Mars, and Mars is making a trine. So there's a giant triangle, grand trine, from Mars to Venus to her body, herself, the victim. So there's a triangle here. So firstly, the triangle allude to, is there a literal triangle involved in this situation? The next thing is Mars and Venus, when they're in aspect with each other, or they are the rulers of the perpetrator or the victim, if they make an aspect like that together, it's usually lovers or partners. It's Mars and Venus. It's male and female. Now, Mars resides in the 4th house of the home, so that to me is indicative of a male at the house, that resides at the house. We have Uranus in the 7th house, which colours the activities of the perpetrator, the intent, the motive, all sorts of things, and also can tell us what he looks like. But Uranus, I'll look for the aspects first, is making an easy trine to the moon, which is the co-ruler of the victim, as always, in the 3rd house of communication. So it actually appears as though an abrupt, sudden situation has occurred and in communication when talking, and that has triggered off something. The thing that I actually don't see here, and I don't feel at all, is her on a bicycle. Now, bike is transport and is represented by Mercury. Mercury's in the 8th house, and it's making an exact square to this Mars. So that to me is almost like the staging of a bicycle to allude to the fact that there is a kidnapping. And oddly, Mars is also the ruler for Scorpio, and that's on the second cusp. The second house cusp in instances like this is kidnapping and wanting money for somebody. So this sort of comes into a circle that if it was a kidnapping, you would think there would be a ransom note, and there's not. So one has to think then, was there a kidnapping at all? And like I said, even though, I mean, we have the moon here in the 3rd house, but the aspects it's making and the aspects these are all making to this Uranus and this Sun here in the 7th house are showing me, and as well I have to say that Neptune is the midpoint of these two areas. Neptune is lies. So I believe that in between what we know there are lies, and it starts with the bike. I don't know if the bike existed. Well, perhaps she rode it often but didn't ride it that day. I don't know, but I have a feeling that she wasn't even seen riding her bicycle. Once again, I just don't believe that there's a bike involved in this. I believe that the bike was there. They have found a bike, but I think it was staged. I think it was put there to make it look like there was a kidnapping. Now, the Sun is also in the 7th house. So the Sun is an older male, and the male of the house. So again, it's pointing towards a person in the home and a male. Now, that 20-degree Sun is sort of activating this little mini grand trine here, mini trine, with Neptune in the midpoint between Pluto and the Sun and Neptune. So we have a perpetrator lying about a scenario of death, which Pluto also represents that. It really doesn't look very great with all of this here in the 7th and 8th, and then the other planets over the 3rd and 4th house cusp, or around the end of the matter. So I have to say that unfortunately it looks like it could be a person that she's been going and dating behind her husband's back, or her husband. It's somebody that is a lover of hers, so it's pointing towards her husband. So that being said, when I do this map and when I show this map, I'm not going to show anything close up, because I have a feeling that sometimes people watch things that they've done, and I would hate for bodies to be moved or anything like that. So I think I'm just going to pull back a little bit on exact locations, but I do have some directions which I'm interested in that I will mention. But I suppose I could say, if any law enforcement or anybody is interested in the specific directions to look, then please by all means contact me on my email and I will show you the map. So we have a 0.26 radius here, then I've gone out 2.6 miles, 27 miles, and I went out to Denver. Now that is another thing. Her husband said that he was in Denver at the time. it's interesting to me that said he was in Denver. It was Mother's Day, and he was somewhere where really he should have been quarantined to his area because of COVID-19. So it seems a bit strange that he was somewhere else. Now, I did a line from the house just straight to Denver, and it happened to fall exactly on this Uranus line here. So Uranus is at 7 degrees of Taurus, so that is 37 degrees when translated, and 37 degrees is exactly from the house to Denver. So it's interesting and important that we know that planets in the 7th house are going somewhere that somebody said something about. Personally, my intuition at this point, and even my puppy dog is telling me so, and I just got a blood nose, how about that? My intuition is telling me that he has taken her north over this way, and she's actually in Denver or halfway between Salida and Denver. And I've made this wedge here because of that's the sun. So we've got the sun and Uranus mapped in there. So I thought that was interesting. It slims down the area. Now Venus in Gemini, which is her, goes through here. But I can't get close. I just can't go close in. My feeling is that there's two ways that she could be. One is down this way, Cannon City or Pueblo, but I don't feel that. I'm feeling more towards Denver. Yeah, I don't believe that she's alive, sadly, and I don't believe that she went on a bike ride. I don't think she's near her home. I think the alibi given was for a reason, and the reason is because it's where he had to go to do whatever he did. If it's just somebody else, like a boyfriend, then I would still be going that way. And I don't know the road systems and how easy it is to go northeast, but definitely northeast is what's being shown, except for this one line here. Anyway, look, I'm not going to go any more into the mapping. I can show, like I said, I can show details and roads and all sorts of things really clearly if you need to see them. So please ask me and I will give you those if you are searching or are a policeman. I'm not just going to give them to anybody, of course. Okay, so back to the chart. Now, this time could change. I've gone by a time I was given, but if that happens, I'll do another video and update it, and we'll have a look at it from there. But at this point in time, that's what I believe. I believe the bicycle was put there for a reason. It looked the part. I believe that there's deception somewhere between two stories. It's an older male. It is possibly somebody that lives at her house. Then it's also, I see this triangle, and the triangle is with Venus and Mars, the ruler of the victim and the perpetrator. So there's a relationship. The triangle is really sticking out for me at the moment. So I don't know whether someone's found out about somebody else or something like that, but this means something. And this mini trine here pointing to Neptune. That means something as well. So I'll leave it at that for now. That will go for ages, probably over an hour. I really hope she's found soon, and I'll probably do another one. I imagine I will. I don't think this is going to quickly resolve. I don't think it's going to go on for too long, though. I'd say probably within a month we should know exactly what happened. Okay, thank you guys. Take care as always, and see you next time. Bye.